What's classy if you're rich, but trashy if you're poor? Wearing hoodies sweats gym wear to work, especially in tech. I thought the popular thing among old school tech guys was dressing like a hobo. The oldest of old school tech guys, when they get really good, are indistinguishable from hermit wizards both in skills and appearance. Tangled beard stretching a foot below their wrinkled and scarred face, clothes that haven't been washed in decades, no socks or shoes, nails 3 inches long. For everyone younger than them, hoodies and pajama pants are the in thing. The fabled eunuch's beard. That service you've been working on for 3 months. They wrote a peril script indistinguishable from hieroglyphs that does the same thing in 30 minutes. Me still maintains an army of peril scripts that perform various automated tasks dating back 15 or so years ago at least. $_ $never forget. Somewhat related part of my career was as a welfare case worker. I always thought it strange that society expected middle upper class women to stay home and raise the kids, but expected poor mothers to find a job. The problem we have where I'm from is that daycare costs more per day than what you would make full time in a minimum wage job. So why wouldn't you live off the system? Exactly. I had clients who went to work whose daycare costs exceeded their employment income. I had to stay home. When I got pregnant, daycare would have not only taken my check, it would have taken part of my husband's as well. And he made too much for assistance at the time, and it's such a long wait to get into even a sort of okay daycare, let alone the good ones. I'm talking as far as safety and DHS rating wise, not like oh this one teaches insert snooty toddler class here better. Keeping a bottle of liquor in your office. But when I visit the nice parts of the city and see people day drinking everywhere, I just assume they're having brunch. Can confirm, I've been taken out for office lunches where I had 3 drinks on their dime, then went back to work. Surprisingly, I still managed to get some good work done. I work nights, so I can start day drinking as soon as I wake up and nobody suspects a thing. Poor people don't have an office. Desk and computer, where you check time cards and emails in the back room of the sandwich shop you get paid $30k a year to spend 60 hours a week at and manages your office. Being on a first name basis with a judge. Hey Judith, how's it going? You're an idiot. Sir, look at me when I'm, don't you? Listen here, you think you're so smart, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You're an idiot. Not actually a quote, but sounds like something she'd say. She makes $50 million a year. She can say whatever she wants. Can she say, nana nana googly ggg dat if? Once played Eve with an Aussie in our pirate corp. Dude got in trouble for public indecency and intoxication often enough we were all 250 or so of us on a first name basis with his probation officer. If you are weird and rich, people just call you eccentric, but if you are weird and poor, people call you crazy. Throws cat. Isn't that old lady actually a very kind and intelligent lady, but something bad happened and now she's a crazy cat lady? Pretty sure I saw an episode where she wasn't crazy. She was some kind of lawyer or something who broke under pressure. She has an actual name too, I just don't remember what it is. She was a lawyer and a drive, then got a cat, snapped and got a bunch. Man, you have so much karma lol, you should go outside sometime. Rich guy buys fast food, he's just like us. Poor guy buys fast food, he should really make better choices. Funny how both work out to be true. Fast food is pricey though. It's also just really classy for a rich person to eat at McDonald's. It's more just them knowing what they like. Yeah, classy might not be the best term for it, but a lot of people think it shows authenticity or realness. The picture of Bill Gates standing in line for a burger that recently made the rounds is a great example, or Warren Buffett's McDonald's habit. Having other people raise your kids. Really, just having a lot of kids screams white trash if poor or clearly well off enough to afford their education if rich. I never viewed it as classy for wealthy people to have others raise their kids for them. I used to fly corporate jets and I saw that all the time. I always thought it was kind of sad. Now that I'm a pilot for an airline, I'm able to spend a lot of time with my kids. Time spent with your kids, if far classier than having others raise them. Having other people raise your kids in your own home vs their home. Having a lawyer's business card in your wallet. This is a really good one, and so spot on. Maybe unpopular opinion, everyone should have a lawyer's business card on them. Maybe this is because I grew up surrounded by lawyers, but you probably know a lawyer, at least tangentially. And who will you call if you are accused of something horrible, possibly due to a case of mistaken identity or maleficence? But I unquestionably grew up as upper middle class, and maybe my view of the world is different than most. Being a stay-at-home parent. When you're poor, you're a bad mother if you don't work to support your kids. When you're rich or middle class, you're a bad mom if you don't stay home with the kids. I feel like people would tell you you're a bad mom for something, no matter what. I'm trying to become a police officer, and I literally had someone tell me yesterday that I was going to be a bad mother because I would never be home. I don't even have children, yet and I'm being judged as a bad mother. Wearing vintage clothing instead of hand-me-downs. I buy my vintage clothes new, thank you very much. My family's so poor I have to wear my mother's hand-me-downs and my sister has to wear mine. I also have a few men's shirts, all of them hand-me-downs from my dad. Mate, I grew up with hand-me-downs from other families that they brought to us in trash bags. I feels this. You'll make it out, eventually. Keep treading water. Walking around all day in a bathrobe. My uncle used to get his paper around noon in his bathrobe so his neighbors would know he just woke up and didn't have anywhere pressing to be. How does that work if everyone else is already at work? The dude is pretty fancy though. I spent my evening watching The Big Lebowski because of the popularity of my reply. It was a good night. No hope for the Creedence tapes though. The most expensive thing you own is a really old car. This is possibly the most clever answer in the whole thread. That would never be the case for an actually rich person. Who doesn't like a cherry Shelby Cobra? Or a Ferrari 250 GTO, only $50 million, haha. If someone is buying a $50mm car, it's likely not the most expensive thing they own. Rich people collect, poor people hoard. That's more about house size than the actual state of being rich or poor. If your house is filled to the brim with stuff, people call you a hoarder. Rich people have the space to distribute their stuff evenly, so they don't look like hoarders. Did you ever see the episode of Hoarders featuring a 31-room mansion filled floor to ceiling with junk? It was probably one of the better ones. Getting money from the government. This needs gilded, but I'm poor. Have you tried getting money from the government? I know a guy who lives in a multi-million-dollar home, has cars and motorcycles, but he shows a loss on his income tax. He doesn't qualify for ACA, so he's on Medicaid. Go figure. I can't believe I had to look this hard to find this. Good call. Day drinking. Rich folks can have 5 mimosas at lunch and nobody bats an eye, but I bring a 44 lunch and suddenly am fired, and a terrible role model for the students. You are a terrible role model. A 40 in a classroom? What you're supposed to do is have a flask and pour it into your coffee. How are your children supposed to get away with a 40 at their work? Showing up to a formal occasion in t-shirt and jeans. That's like mega rich. Most rich follow trends, but Bill Gates can show up in sweatpants and people will think he's flexing. I think this may work for any software professional, honestly. This one is also highly dependent on fitness level. Wearing pink. I literally look like a pink trash, while a rich someone else wearing the same thing will look like a fashionista. Thank you, kind stranger, for the silver. My first silver, feeling incredibly proud. This is actually quite underrated +1. 50 Shades of Grey apparently, never read the books, but saw the memes. It's only acceptable because he's rich. If he lived in a dump it would be a CSI episode. Law and Order SVU, not CSI. From what I recall, all cases in CSI are dead people. Goose liver? Fish eggs? Where's the goose? Where's the fish? That's what rich people eat, the garbage parts of the food. Rich people used to wipe their butts with a swan's neck hair. Clothes with holes in them, apparently. Where else are you supposed to put your arms? It would be easier if they made F shirts. You could wear it to a funeral to pay respects. Substance abuse. Rich people are troubled, whereas poor people are just junkies. Substance abuse is definitely a different kind of problem when you can't afford the substances. Party where everyone dresses in white. I don't get that one. Scroll down. Oh. Still don't get it. What's so bad about white clothes for poor people? Having a wedding in your yard. Common or poor folk have it in the yard, while the rich have it on their estate. How rich do I need to be to call my house an estate? Owning 8 cars, but you only drive one. Difference is whether they're on cinder blocks. Historically, eating lobsters. I do not control the speed at which lobsters die. If you're poor and sleep with your cousin, you're a redneck, but if you're rich, you're European nobility. Having your clothes be worn out. Not sure if Fallout 4 banned it or Kanye West. Mercedes. If you're rich, it's your car. If you're poor, it's your kid. Asking for money. When you're poor, it's begging. When you're rich, it's a fundraiser. Biking or using public transport instead of taking your car. Not working a day in your life.